about probably 10 years before we ever got into any conversation about working together, I had such a huge respect for Rick Tramonto's food. I never really felt I had eaten in a great restaurant, even though we had eaten in so many restaurants. When you couple the food, the service, the ambiance, and all outside of New Orleans, until I walked into True after Rick actually opened True in Chicago. And I remember, I tell the story of watching him walk out of the kitchen one night into his dining room, and just the command of the dining room that he had, the hospitality to his customers, the way he approached his tables, but at the same time, just the way the guests approached the view of Rick walking into his dining room. They really had a huge respect for a man who deserved a lot of respect in culinary and in establishing a restaurant that in fact was what I consider to be one of the finest eating establishments in the world. There was no doubt about it. He had won every major award imaginable. He had garnered all of the international awards as well. He had done all of the books, he had done all of television, and at the same time he found time to raise a family and build a magnificent restaurant empire at that time, having about 5 restaurants. So it was great to be able to sit there and just kind of watch him work, even though I knew Rick very well. It was at that time that we started to talk about joining forces in other ways. He called me one day about doing a cheese dinner at True in Chicago, because I was doing cheese in Louisiana. And I was doing artisanal cheese at our Bittersweet Plantation Dairy in Donaldsonville. And Rick called and said, look, we're doing a cheese dinner of cheesemakers around the country, and I'd like you to join me to bring Louisiana cheese. I'm thinking to myself, now this guy's opened restaurants all over the world. He's been in the finest cheese capitals, but he's coming to Bayou country to get a cheesemaker. And I thought, and I consider that a huge honor, really I did. And we worked together in True that night, and that just was one more stepping stone to the relationship that we eventually created here in New Orleans. Little did I know, or little did I ever feel, that number one, we would come together to work together because of the fact that we were coming from 2 totally different backgrounds. It never even entered my mind. I had never had a partner in my business. My company was almost 30 years old. We were diversified at the time into many different food companies, and I could not even imagine. I had actually stepped out of the restaurant business. Our Beach Landing restaurant, after 25 years in Donaldsonville, I decided to close that restaurant down and get involved in food manufacturing, cheese making, bakery business, because that's where my life seemed to be going. But you never, ever take the restaurant out of the bar.